sense to me.
There's something to be said about the righteous versus the dogmatic nature of wanting to be right.
People want to be right more than they want to agree, bro.
You should want to agree more than you should ever want to be right. You should be willing to compromise with the vast majority of everybody. How many people are in the world do you think you could possibly be right all the time?
Here's another late development, and this news keeps coming in as we're talking here.
But that's when we come into the identity booth. Everybody.
Yo.
What's happening? It's early.
It is.
This is probably the earliest we filmed
Ever.
and
It's like not even 2 in the afternoon yet.
that's a beautiful thing. I was able to get a lot of work done. I just got my artistry rendered, so I'm excited. I get the effects of, I get the pleasure of doing something I really love. But before we deep dive into that, you are watching or listening, and wherever you're doing it, thank you to the Identity Booth.
Yeah.
Brought to you in parts by Project DTO, with your boy Hero, who's constantly fumbling his video schedule, so you don't know what's coming out, when it's coming out, when we should be thanking somebody. And the boy Wonder ET. On the ones and twos, we out here in the Identity Booth trying to identify with you guys as you identify with us. So we greatly appreciate you guys joining us. We've been soloed out in the booth for a while.
Yeah.
We recently had a female visitor.
Yeah.
That video went out, and now we're back to the solo round of just me and you, my best friend.
Yeah, man.
How you feeling, bro?
Bro, I'm good, man. Had a day off, rested. You know what I mean? Got to kick it with the wife. Had some lunch.
Rejuvenated, yes.
Oh yeah. Went to the gym last night. You know what I mean? Got to have cuts for the sluts, rolls for the hoes. Shout out to Beast Mode Jones.
So we here, and we've been doing some traveling, man. I just got back from Cali. Who knows when this is coming out?
Hey.
But the motto in Cali is it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
But you know what? I like that motto. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you can get worked up as a man, when especially if you are like a perfectionist. You got a obsessive compulsive, type A personality. Nothing's ever okay. Like everything's mediocre unless I do it.
Exactly.
When you get around those people out there, I think like Cali people are way more laid back than Texans. Like I lived on the East Coast for 6 years, and everything's hustle bustle. Then you get over here and you get back home, and everything's just like, unless you're driving your car, everything else is slow.
Dare I say, I might get some flack for this, but some of my best girlfriends were from the East Coast or West Coast.
I had to go to the East Coast to get my wife.
So, and Shawnee, we love you.
Hey, baby, you know I love you.
Hey,
come on now.
Shawnee, come through.
Always.
So, it's really amazing. Me and you have been talking a lot about just the direction that the channel has been going lately, and how much like stuff has been going on, and like we're starting to see a real kind of uptick. We're not there. No. We're not even there yet. But we're starting to see the shape of the identity of our channel, and other people are starting to see the shapes and identity of our channels, and that's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. So thank you guys. It means a lot. We're getting your feedback. We hear that you don't like when we wear the same shirts over and over again.
So I put on a new shirt.
Yeah, but I'm here to tell you, Hero ain't changing his shirt. So y'all motherfuckers stuck with me. But either way it goes, today is the news show. Or which one we doing first?
Yeah, the news.
You want to do the news first? Because we just went live on Facebook, so they'll probably give you guys a gauging of when this was really video.
Yeah.
But
we could do the news. We got a lot of topics.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about this concert situation?
You want to do the Kendrick Lamar situation?
Yeah, let's touch on that first.
So let me read my handwriting real quick. Bigger than 10 that comes from this. No, this is the wrong one.
Man.
Here we go. All right. So we'll start with the news then, but we'll start with the Kendrick story to lead off.
All right.
So Did you know about this story?
Nah, not till you told me last night, and I still didn't even go watch the YouTube video because I was just like,
all right.
I didn't.
So in our rundown last night, I decided to spit game for Kendrick Lamar had a show. I don't know where it was, but during the middle of one of his more popular songs, Mad City, he calls up a fan to the stage to hit the chorus with him. And this fan happened to be a white female, a young white female, probably no more than, I wouldn't give her past 21. Mm-hmm. So she's adolescent. Mm-hmm. And of course, being a young white woman singing Mad City of Kendrick Lamar, there are an assortment of words.
Yeah, colorful words.
Colorful words in that song that you are not allowed to use. But bestowed or unbeknownst to her, she managed to utter those words, and Kendrick Lamar grabbed the mic from her and shamed her, and I am of the culture, the nature of saying, I don't know what world you live in that you thought that this was okay. And me and Eric, rightfully, we don't agree on this, but we do have a consolidated medium of where we come with this. But just off the bat, Kendrick Lamar bringing this patron onto the stage and she utters that words, what is your feeling on that?
The girl was in the front row, right?
Front row.
So she spent, $600,000.
$600 to $1,000 up.
You know what I'm saying? And depending on what other kind of VIP, whatever she got, let's just say she spent $600. Let's just be on the low end. She spent $600 on the ticket. And nobody spends that much money to go see a rapper if they don't love this rapper. Now, she listened to the song probably 1,000 times because Mad City came out when 2011. You know what I'm saying? So she's been listening to this album for 7 years, rapping this song for 7 years, probably 1,000 times, probably in the privacy of her own home, headphones, car, gym, wherever. So she said it 1,000 times. And Kendrick Lamar is not the only rapper that has that word in the songs that she's listening to. So she, out of habit, is saying that. Now, let me caveat and say, I'm not condoning the fact that she said it. What I am saying is, she idolizes Kendrick. First of all, why does a 22-year-old person know the song? Any 22-year-old person know the lyrics of an album that's 7 years old if they're not a real fan? Come on now, you guys know exactly why she knows all the lyrics to the song, because she really idolizes this person. And so she idolizes Kendrick, and she gets up and she just goes with it. And do I honestly believe this chick is up here saying the N-word like, hey, you're an N-word with the hard ER? Or she's saying it like Kendrick saying it with the A on the end? And I guess the point I'm trying to make is, if Kendrick never put it in a song, would she have said it at all?
And I stand to reason. I hear what you're saying, because this is the argument a lot of white people are making for this girl. I got into an argument with somebody on Facebook, said with a white woman who said, I've been using the N-word since I was 14. Mm-hmm. And I said, would you dare go into the hood using the N-word? She says, no, I only use it with people So you just admitted how you appropriated the word. Mm-hmm. And you just now admitted that you throw that word in the face of black people you assume are your friends because they don't say anything to you. Probably because they don't want that level of conflict. Because they feel that innately a word that has been used to bring them down, which they now converted and took ownership over to bring them up, a term of endearment to certain groups of people, you've now appropriated that word for yourself because you want to feel like you belong. My thing is, no matter what your infatuation, your obsession, your inclination is, the ladder of your mind, when given the choice to say the N-word and not say the N-word and you're not black, always go with the latter. Please, white people listening to the Project ETO, the Identity Booth, I'm here to tell you, if anybody tells, even if a black person tells you you're good, you're never that good. You're never gonna be that good. And it's something you have to come to terms with. Sort of how, like, you can't go up to a Jewish survivor, a woman, anybody, and call them their own version of their derogatory term. Girls can go up to each other and say, "That's my bitch, that's my female, yes. Get it, ho, yes." Women can do that. Hero is not allowed to go up to a female and call her a hoe.
But here's the question: why can't you? Here's the thing: if I call myself something, why do I get mad when somebody calls me the thing that I call myself?
Context is everything.
Okay, so what if they're using it in the same context that I use it?
But guess what? You can't have that context because you never went through the struggle.
So the struggle gives you
that right. Yes.
Nah, bro.
Yes.
Come on, man. Like
being black gives you the right to use that word.
First of all, black people shouldn't use the word at all.
Rightfully so.
Okay, perfect example. Here and I have been knowing each other for like a year and a half. And the first time we've heard each other use that word was last night when we were talking about the incident. Because that's not a part of our vocabulary. Because Hero and I inherently know what that word actually means.
Yes.
And so we don't use it. To us, it's not a term of endearment. But that's the point I'm trying to make. Mm-hmm. You and I don't think it's a term of endearment and we're black, so we don't use the word. Yes. But there's a small group of people over here that do think it's a term of endearment and do use the word. Mm-hmm. So it's on a case-by-case basis. Definitely. Is the point I'm trying to make.
And I'm here to say the case-by-case situation for all white people is a no. like I will defend you and your honor and your right to speak freely, but you have to really let it register now. Like, let's take it down to the barest of bones. I gave Kendrick a lot of credit for assuming that he did this on purpose. But you have to look at the facts. She paid money for this ticket. She chose to learn and master those words and lyrics and idolize it. When he pointed to her and said, "Come up on stage," she still had the option to decide to get on the stage. To this point now, there's at least 4 scenarios where she has not been forced to do anything. He then gives her a verse. You still have the option, 5 now, to open your mouth. Kendrick Lamar has the lyrical ability where he knows every beat point on his track list and record. He could have scratched the word. He could have muted the mic. They could have done a production behind it, and it would have been easy. But he didn't. Want to know why? Because he wanted to prove something. And J. Cole's song, KOD, mirrors this scenario perfectly. We know vast majority of artists go on tour, their crowd is attributed to what nationality?
White. So
we know 70% of concert goers to rap concerts in this new day and age is attributed to the white population, even though nearly 100% of all the music is talking about the struggles or black lives. Mm-hmm. So, what part of you? Because I gave her the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, she might be, but that doesn't skew the films that she's wrong, and everyone needs to understand why she's wrong. There is no such thing as you can appropriate the word because you're a fan. Guess what? You should also be able to appropriate bailing me out of jail or taking a few of these bullets that are shot at me by officers. You don't want to appropriate that shit.
So the point you're trying to make is certain individuals or groups of people only want the parts of a culture that they feel are glorious and not the difficult parts.
You can now begin to understand why me and Eric are good friends.
Okay, so... this is going to open up a can of worms. I will talk about this off camera. It's another subject that we're going to have to delve into based off of this conversation we're having here. I don't want to go there because I already know some people going to get offended if I say what I want to say. And I don't have a problem offending people. If y'all haven't noticed, in the identity book, we don't care about your feelings.
Feelings are for suckers.
I mean, hey. Well, feelings always get squashed by facts. So if you ever come to me with your feelings, you better have some facts because I promise you I'm going to have some facts and I have no problem smacking you with these facts.
They hurt.
They hurt real bad. So.
But closing thoughts on it.
Closing thoughts. First of all, my honest opinion, if you don't want people to call you something, don't call yourself that. That's my personal feeling. Second off, Kendrick Lamar has the ability to condition a group of people to think whatever he wants them to think about another particular group of people. And instead of using that ability to transform the image of the idea, he continues to perpetuate the idea that the mass media has put out. And a lot of people are not going to like that. Listen, and I was telling her this last night. In the 60s, when Malcolm X was out, how was brothers dressing? They wasn't wearing their pants off their butt. You know, they wasn't wearing oversized t-shirts or too tight pants or little t-shirts. It was suit and tie, a hat, especially in New York City. They wasn't having it. You couldn't show up to the nation meeting looking like a bum. It wasn't. I mean, and granted, well, that's the culture then, that's the culture now. But again, the way you present yourself to people is they're ultimately gonna judge you based on your appearance. And we can say that's bad, but everybody does it. Men do it with women do it with men do it with other men, women do it with other women. Yes. Rich do it to poor do it to rich. The way you present yourself is the way people are going to perceive you. So if you want people to perceive you differently, present yourself differently.
Definitely. And I'm of the solution of saying only dumb people gauge the book by its cover. If every day a man with a tattoo across his face that said "damaged" walked past me and never said a word to me, and he was wearing a business suit, tailored to the T, I have no place to gauge or figure out where he stands in life. It's not my job, it's not my prerogative, and it's not going to make me richer. I say that to say this. Please, for the love of God, white people, stop ruining your lives with black people. Once again, when given two options to say the N-word, and you're not black, option A, say it. Option B, don't say it. Always go with the latter. Don't say it. Yeah. This is me coming to you because I truly do love you guys. Next topic. We are talking about our favorite baby fingers, a.k.a. Mr. Tweet-A-Lot. I am the greatest. No one has ever witch hunt the witches like they've ever witch hunt me. Donald Trump. And Donald Trump got some bad news recently. Yeah. And I know I'm not talking about the fact that he went out and made a commemorative, what's the word I'm thinking? Commemorative, like, you know, the coins and stuff.
Commemorative.
Commemorative coin for the iconic meeting of North Korea and America at the summit in June. He went and got a coin made out of it. And by the way, that coin was selling before the meeting was canceled for upwards of $100. It's now selling for 50 cents. So go get that deal.
I need it.
I want it just so I can laugh at it. But I want you guys to understand what we're referencing here. Donald Trump has done a lot of dumb things in a week, and I would take probably an hour to go through everything with you guys. So let's just talk about this one incident. North Korea, if you don't know who they are, they're north of South Korea. And they are led by a tyrannical dictator by the name of Kim Jong-un. Every time I need to say his name, I'm just pointing at Eric. Yeah. So
Kim Jong-un
was in charge of making sure his country didn't see the light of day as we know it today. But the one thing about this individual in this country is they had acquired nuclear ability, which means they could flatten anything in the country, and they weren't very good at it. So their misfires or misdetonation could end up causing catastrophic lost life. This is the one place on the map, when you look at North Korea and South Korea on the map, you can't see North Korea at night because they only have running electricity for 8 hours. He starves people. He makes his prisoners do manual labor in the most atrocious way. He's not a good guy, is what I'm saying. But he was willing to denuclearize to a certain extent, give up all the captured American prisoners, and reform to gain access back into the market of the real world. But Donald Trump ran into a few issues, and these issues came from his team. This is the one time that I can say Donald Trump was actually right and was being politically correct. And it was because of he wanted the idea of getting peace with this country, which no other president has ever done in America, and no other leader in this world has ever done. Mm-hmm. So it would have been a first. And it all surrounded, Donald Trump's behavior surrounded around him being given the idea of winning a Nobel Peace Prize. He was purposely acting outside of his character because he thought he could win the greatest reward to peace and attributing to humanity, which is the Nobel Peace Prize.
It's because Barry won one, so he wanted one.
Oh, of course, but he ain't gonna admit that. But the
we got good sense.
But the fact of the matter is, the summit's now off, and it's not his fault. John Bolton, his military advisor, Mike Pence, his vice president, and he just had his DOJ meeting. Mike Pompeo, from saying the Libya effect, which if you don't know what happened in Libya is basically he gave up his missiles and allowed America to help out, and then 8 years later he was being raped to death with a baton in daylight. If you ever think about giving up power and you see the results of you being raped in the butt with a baton by the people who said, "Oh, we come in peace," just remember that. And using words such as, "We will bring the likes of pain that you will never experience, that you've never experienced in your life." Of course, you're going to cancel the meeting. So with that being said, do you feel sad for Trump at this point? Because he was trying.
E for effort, always.
Okay.
E for effort. However, if you got jokers in your camp that are going to countermand something that you say, they got to go. Number one. And you got to have brass balls to listen. If I'm saying let's make peace with this country, and then you're getting on TV and you're going against what I'm saying, we need to bring you to the Oval Office, bend you over, open your legs, and I'm going to put my steel toe on and kick you as hard as I can in the balls. It's unacceptable. Number one, do we need peace with North Korea?
Yes.
Of course we do. We do need peace with North Korea. Any country that has nuclear capabilities that is against us is at any moment a threat, because at any moment they could set off something. Or if they catch us with our pants down, which could happen very shortly because the world is against the dollar.
Or even just if something happens to within their own facility, if someone sabotages their own facility. A lot of people take for granted, just because a nuclear weapon doesn't hit us here, doesn't mean we won't feel the effects of it from across the country.
Yes.
We're talking about these silos being built miles into the Earth's crust. One fractured disc could set off tsunamis,
monsoons, massive
earthquakes that could be felt. We don't know the extent because it's never happened, and thank God. But the fact of the matter is, it behooves us as a group of people not to have peace throughout the world. Mm-hmm. And when our lives are being decided by people we elected, and in other cases are forced to accept, I have to give it up for baby fingers in this platitude for making an effort, even if it was just to win the Nobel. But if that is what it takes for him to be a good guy, here at the Danny Booth, we do not show any bias. Mm. If you're right, you're right. And if you think you're wrong, we're going to kick you in the balls.
That's for sure.
So what do you think, last end? Do you feel like he can redeem himself? Do you feel like this meeting might happen in the future?
If it does, I'd be shocked, especially with China meddling with North Korea. It's in China's best interest to have a gun that's not their own for hire, especially because they're trying to get rid of the petrodollar. And them, Russia and Iran are all in cahoots, and they want to get rid of the petrodollar. And I don't necessarily blame them, because America has been lending out their military to Saudi Arabia for over 40 years. We've been destabilizing countries and killing innocent people for a long time, and there's a lot of patriots that would say this, that, and the third. But my brother just got back from the military.
Welcome home.
Yeah, he did 5.5 years, and
thank you.
He got medically discharged. The dude's had 5 major surgeries.
Get well soon.
He got freaking shot with a rocket and survived it. Yeah, but he had 5.
God is real.
I'm saying, you know what I mean? And he told me, he said, all that stuff they're telling us is a lie. He would know. He got shot with a rocket for this, so he would know. I'm just saying, this isn't what we think it is. Don't listen to the news. Don't be so jingoistic that you can't see what it is. We're gonna do a series on it. Follow the money. Y'all be looking for that.
Follow the money. And what we about to do is follow this next topic.
Damn.
We talked about this on the live feed. The NFL has come out with a new decision. Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
And me and you both have shifting ideas on this. I feel I have a perspective on this because I worked for these people at one point, so I can say for a fact that there's been at least 3 times I didn't stand for the national anthem, and all 3 times I was either in a medical situation or I was looking for my helmet in the locker room still. Like, I was a rookie. What'd you expect? So we're talking about Colin Kaepernick, and recently the evidence has come out that the judge has allowed Colin Kaepernick to go forward with his collusion case against the owners. But right and early on Tuesday, the new ruling came down that NFL teams will be charged a 15-yard penalty, and the fine will be imposed on the player and team. But they kind of changed it so that the penalty now affects everybody. So if you do it, everyone's going to look at you. In addition, if you do choose to protest, you have to do it out of sight of the camera. Donald Trump recently just said, after hearing this ruling, that maybe people who sit in the locker room should be deported. Now, me and you both know he's an idiot, and that's not possible. And it's against our first, fifth, and what?
You know what? Let me pause here. The same people who cry about not wanting their guns taken away are the same ones who will refuse to defend a person using their First Amendment right. So we need to preserve your Second Amendment right, but we can take away somebody's First Amendment right. And you get mad at the left for wanting to take your Second Amendment right, but you people on the right get mad at somebody on the left for using the First Amendment. You can't be that duplicitous. You have to be the same way every time. And people get mad at me because they can't tell if I'm on the left or the right, but I'm on the side of common sense. I want my guns, but I also want my First Amendment right as well, to the right to free speech and the right to protest. And I'm sorry, the right to assemble. Listen, that is my right. And I'm smart enough to say, if I tell somebody they can't have their First Amendment right, I shouldn't get mad at them when they say you shouldn't have your gun either.
Exactly. And I haven't watched an NFL game, even when I come over to your spot.
If it's on, it's in the background and it's muted because our conversation is way more stimulating than people running 25 miles an hour and smashing into each other.
It just speaks to the vulgarity of the situation. And I made the point of this. You want to know who wish they could protest the NFL? Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice, Philando Castile, Eric Gardner. You know, the people, Walter Scott. You know, the people who were killed unarmed by police officers. You know, the thing that Colin Kaepernick just wants people to pay attention to. I sent you a link. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it.
I downloaded the study. I haven't read it in its entirety, but I downloaded the study.
And this new study just came out that speaks to, and is still up for debate, and it's going to hit its final peer review in 2 months.
Yeah.
But basically, there's a stat out there that says, ostensibly, because black men have been killed so much in the past coming years, and are in prison, incarcerated, that now the more likely group of people to be killed by police are black women.
Okay, so the part of the study that I did get a chance to read is because I wanted to see how they compiled the data. So it's from 2013 to 2015, It's 20 months, 1,700 fatalities. And the study says that there's a 7-to-1 disparity in fatalities between black men and white men. And right now, I just wanted to say that black women are actually killed more than black men now. But again, I need to see where they're getting the data from, how they compile it.
And it's important that you understand, civil servants killing civilians wasn't tracked till 2015. So every piece of data they've received came from newspaper clippings or TV airs. They've gone through hours and hours of circulating media data. So there isn't a congruent FBI list where you can just say white women, black women. No, there's no way. So the information, and also to attest to that, by 2017 they believe they will overtake black men. They believe they're on par with it. So that is something that the fact that we're talking about these stats is indicative of the problem that is going on. So why is it? Because if anyone, and the thing about it, I can never find anyone who's truly upset about them protesting. Because when someone raises their hand and says, I am upset that he is dishonoring the flag, just ask them, hey, how do you think Tamir Rice would feel about this? Who's that? That immediately lets you know they have taken no time.
Is because their idea of patriotism is so ingrained in standing up for a flag. First of all, I used to not stand for the flag even before all the killings. The only reason I stand for the flag now is because my brother got shot with a rocket.
I'm sorry to tell you, I don't know the national anthem. I never stood for the pledge.
But I'll say the reason why I didn't stand for it is because, about 2006, I started doing research on this country and found out the United States is a corporation, and the flag is the sign of the corporation. And so I had wrote a song a long, long time ago. It's probably about 10 years ago. And they started off and said, I pledge allegiance to the Constitution, not a tri-colored flag that leaves Americans disillusioned. It said IRS jab hooks leaves a contusion, vision never clear. Check my reflection, I see the bruising. So, listen, the flag is the logo of a corporation that you've been conditioned to believe is the symbol of this country. The Constitution is the symbol of this country. It's the glue that holds us together, all of us, as a group of people, the vast differing majority of us. It's that document that binds us all together, and we get so fixated on a flag that we forget that everybody has rights, and we'd rather violate this person's right to prove our point or to make ourselves feel better about ourselves, instead of all coming together and saying, listen, this flag represents a tyrannical, fascist idea. And the flag doesn't do anything but wave. And you know what the flags actually came from? They used to come from Admiralty, from navies, from pirates. They used to run a flag up so you knew who they were affiliated with.
Yep.
That's where these flags come. You can do your history. Google this stuff. It's out there. It's public information. The problem is you get offended at us for talking about it because we present facts to you that we've actually gone and looked up, and then we tell you to go look it up, and you want to argue with us. And then when we prove you wrong, you want to get vulgar.
Fake news. You're an asshole.
That's all we get. Or you think your perspective's the only perspective. Like we had some jerk off arguing with us when Hero put the Dear Black People up, and I fired his life up. Did he respond?
No.
Did I do it in a disrespectful way?
No.
And did I present to him facts?
Yes.
And he never responded.
We lost a life because of that.
Oh, God. But we did get comments.
And that's what matters.
Exactly.
Engagement, communication. The world as we know it is getting farther apart, even though there's less land for us to live on nowadays.
Yep.
You have to be able to detach yourself from your feelings and sheer logic. You have to be able to do that. If you see a problem with the protest, I need to question, do you see a problem with people being murdered in the street in cold blood? And if you can't answer both of those questions yes, then you're wrong. You're wrong. And it's okay. You can find your method, your reasoning behind it, but you're still wrong. And that's just what it comes down to. So, for all intents and purposes, how much time we got left?
Man, we right on time. We're going to cut this up anyway. We got to put this up for y'all. It's hot off the press.
It's hot off the press. So, for all intents and purposes, Eric, where can they find us?
Where can they not find us is a better question.
That is a great question.
We got to change it up. Where can they not find us?
We're going to go on, there's this new platform called Steam. Steam?
Yeah, it's on Steam. Yeah, Steam It.
Steam It, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start trying to upload there. I was waiting for their UI to get better. It's really convoluted, and I didn't like it. But Anchor, they just came out with a new update. Their V136 update allows you to take already recorded files and upload them. Anchor is a handheld podcast, so
Oh man,
that's gonna be great. Player FM, we've been getting a lot of love on SoundCloud, so shout out to
the
you guys.
SoundCloud folks. So here's where they can't find us. You can't find us. We ain't in Target yet. We ain't in Walmart.
Nope.
We're not at your local mall.
We're not at the movie theaters.
But we might fool around and show up and do a live video at your mall or your movie theater.
Send us tickets.
Real
We'll
talk.
come.
Hey, Solo coming out. Solo comes out. We can go see Solo today. Actually,
We can.
shoot, we might do a live at the Solo Dolo.
We love you, Childish Gambino.
Shout out to Donnie Glover.
So, for all intents and purposes, though, they can catch us on
Instagram,
iTunes.
at the Identity Booth.
Uh-huh.
The Identity Booth on Facebook. You can find us on Google Play. The Identity Booth. YouTube at Project ETO.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shucks. Where else?
Facebook.
We got Facebook already. We got SoundCloud. We got Google Play. We got
Player FM.
Player FM, Last FM. We got the Apple iTunes. So, man,
And all those links will be in below. Thank you guys for putting. We've been getting a lot of compliments about the graphical upgrades and the sound quality has been better. The sound quality has been good since episode 5, 6.
Yeah.
So
we struggled
whew,
for a couple of.
you want to see struggling? Go listen to episode 4, 5, and 6, and come back and talk to us about struggling. We'll show you what God can do with upgrades.
Hey, listen.
But until you can upgrade yourself, continue to identify with other people as they try to identify with you. There's no point in us sitting here pretending that because we don't hear each other, that we're just going to disappear.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. So might as well get comfortable. Get cozy in the booth. Get close. Hold it tight in your chest, man. This is the Identity Booth. My name is Hero, and as always, I got the boy Wonder, E.T. with me. And we'll be catching up with you guys in the near future. But until then, take care of yourselves. We out. Time! Oh, we didn't